a good example for me, right, is I've been mentoring a lot of individuals who have very different analytic backgrounds than I have. And that's because the industry and the science of analytics has shifted. And so I always feel like it helps me learn the trends of today so I can properly communicate to those individuals, which keeps me as a mentor sharp, right? So I can't just keep teaching things and explaining things and guiding based off of the way that I learned them and how I came up in my career, because while some of that is still applicable, a lot of what happens in healthcare and technology is evolving. And if I can't relate what I learned to how people are learning today and how things are moving today, then I feel like it's not as valuable for them. And so I think it helps me make sure that I'm staying as a good resource. I have to evolve as well. So I feel like that's a good thing for me as a professional. Hold on tight, I guess, is a good, certainly, and I'll give the example of COVID, right? Our company had a roller coaster through COVID, and not everyone's going to experience a public health pandemic during their, startup. Made you learn how to appreciate the different stages that you're in, and that every day, some days it's going to feel like it's not going to work. Some days you're like, why hasn't this worked faster, where things are going great? And so I think it helps balance those things. And so being able to hold on through maybe the bad times, but also keep your sort of wits about you through the good times, so that you can make those roller coaster moments as easy as and as flat as possible. I think that's just true from a financial perspective too, right? And that hold on tight kind of mentality, I feel like is something we learned during COVID that I would certainly not want to wish upon anybody, but I feel like we emerged much more knowledgeable than we were when we went in. So I think we have a very solid foundation to be a big force in the entrepreneurial market. I do feel that we as a city really have to start focusing on, and I'm slightly biased on the tech side, so I'll keep moving towards that, but we also have to be thinking about how to get those skill sets here, and not only those skill sets, but encouraging those skill sets in the entrepreneurial space. So if you think about software developers, the level of education and experience that those people have, to be competitive from a startup perspective in terms of salary, it's really hard. But if you can breed those people and they can come up in your city, then I think it's much better breeding ground for startups to have really good developers and a technical team in their own backyard. Whereas if we're trying to recruit individuals from other cities, sometimes the startup price tag won't really buy those individuals, right? Which is unfortunate. And so I feel like if we as a city can really capitalize on all the great foundation we've laid from a tech perspective and start to bring and breed talent here, that's really I feel like a force that really would make us unstoppable in the entrepreneurial world.